thing that I said that I was going to show you at some point was this idea of what is a stop, right? When we talk about a stop of light, I'm talking about doubling it or cutting it in half. And it sounds like a lot, right? Taking light and doubling the amount or cutting it in half. Well, I want to show you just how much visually it is. Because remember, at the very beginning of the semester, I was telling you what we want to do is we want to begin to tune our eye so it sees like the camera. And then, of course, the camera so we can make it see like our eye. But here's another exercise in tuning our eye, because when I say it's one stop, you need to know what that looks like and how much that is. Okay? So let me get set here. So this is just a light meter, a handheld light meter that reads the amount of light. It's an incident meter, right? It reads the light falling on me, not the light reflecting off. We've talked about incident reflective. Most of your meters are reflective. You point your camera at me, and it reads the light reflecting off of me. This reads the light falling onto me and gives you an f-stop shutter speed ISO combination. Okay? So that's all this is, and it can do a bunch of other fancy-dancy stuff, but basically. Okay. So I did a test. Richard was here. I did a test so I wouldn't look stupid, but let me make sure I got this right. Okay, so from here, look at the light on my face here, to there, now it's changed to one stop. It's gotten brighter, right? You've seen it got brighter, but it's not huge. It's not all of a sudden somebody turned on a bright spotlight on my face. All right? So then again, gosh, I'm getting old. Okay, another stop. So from here, back to here, 2 stops later. Okay? I need to be able to make it a little bit darker if I go over here. See how we're here. Yeah, so that's a stop right there, from here to here, and another stop about here, then another stop about here. So when we talk about open shade, what's the exposure? It really means it's kind of an average. There's a 3-stop difference right here. That's a lot. And if I go one out even farther with all this light coming in, it's going to be even make more of a difference. So I just wanted to give you a sense as to what 1 stop or 2 stops of light looks like. And it's a very subtle change on your face. Okay? So that's kind of just a little bit of a reference point there.
So before we talk about Sunny 16 and the hazy 11 and all that stuff, well, how is that affected? Because you're in open shade. Right?
The whole time, right.
Yeah.
So
there's three stop difference.
plus more. If I came out here,
yeah.
right? Now I'm up another 3 stops, right?
So
when I say open shade, what I mean is you're standing out in a sunny area underneath a tree, and there's sun all the way around. I don't mean you get back into this dark corner with all this, this wood that soaks up all this light, and it really changes. How much light's bound. If these walls were white, it'd be a whole different story. But it's dark and it kind of sucks up light. So this is a great example of open shade or underneath an overhang, and the kind of variety you can have within a shot. So, and how hazy is it, right? Is it really hazy or not hazy? Is it almost cloudy bright or not cloudy bright? Are they black, dark rain clouds? Is it just, a high overcast, at the beach at Santa Cruz? Different amounts of light. So they're reference points to sort of understand what happens, exposure-wise, but not things that you can take to the bank. With film, we did, because you get a little bit of exposure latitude with film and stuff like that, but since we have the meters and our cameras that are all within a 3rd stop accuracy, we're in pretty good shape, with that. So that's just a kind of, All right, any other questions about that? Kind of makes sense what a stop is? All right, and you would get the same result if you use the spot meter function on your camera and put it on my face. But think about if you were doing a full scene average and I was back here, right? Or I was up here. You'd still be averaging out the lights back there, so you probably wouldn't get a very accurate reading because it's looking at the whole scene. The nice thing about this is I'm moving this with me and it's reading the light falling on there, so it's a fairly accurate, reading of that. Okay? Good so far? Okay, cool. All right, one down. What's that good?
Something you can adjust afterwards?
Sometimes, maybe. I mean, the reality of your exposure latitude of your camera is probably 7 stops, 6 stops. So, you know, you can adjust a couple stops here and there, but if you don't compensate for the proper light on my face and there's a highlight, you're going to lose the highlights or you lose the shadow. So better to have the exposure proper for the party of your image. If you wanted me to be silhouetted, then you do something different. If you wanted me to be, you know, really, really overexposed, if you wanted high key, you do it something different. So there's, you know, get this, guys, there's no right exposure. Right? There's a normal exposure, there's an average exposure, and then you can do it either way. You can go overexposed or underexposed, depending on what you're trying to say. So there's no, you know, 100% right exposure. Right? Some exposures may add to the overall feel of the photograph by making it high key. Some may add to the overall feeling of making it darker and more edgy. And those would fall within the normal exposure or the average exposure. All right, anything else? Okay, cool. Now you can stop that now.